Okay, what we're going to do now is take a look at populating our components, and because this is not a styling course, I've actually created snippets to make it easier for us to get the content that we need inside there. It's not dealing with any functionality at the moment, we're just looking at styling these pages, and to save us a bit of time on something that's not one of the main focuses of this course, which is styling, we're going to cheat for this particular component and we're going to use snippets. So inside your student assets folder, what you should have is some snippets for the activity details. And what we have here is snippets that cover all of the different components. And it's the whole thing. And what we're going to do for the activity detailed header, I'm just going to copy all of this content into my clipboard. And we're just going to go to the activity detailed header and just paste this in its entirety. So Control All, Control Paste, and we're going to get all of the content inside here. Now, a couple of things to point out in this component is that we have a couple of styles that we're creating as objects outside of the component itself. And it just makes it a bit cleaner to use inside our component. What we're doing is we're dimming the image for each activity so that we can display some white text over the image so it's clearly visible. And then where we use these particular styles is inside here. We just add it as a style and then we just pass the object inside there, and for both the activity image and the activity image text. The rest of this is pretty much as we've been using so far. We've got the image source for the activity category. We again are using segments to display this content. So we've got a segment group, and inside here we've got a couple of different segments, and the segments are just to separate the image and the buttons that we're going to have underneath this. And if we go take a look and just refresh our page, then we're missing some properties here. We need to pass down the activity to our activity detailed header. So let's open up the activity details page, and we need to pass our activity down to the activity detailed header. And if we go take a look, then we can see the effect it has. We can see our image being dimmed, and that allows us to display some text over the image. And what we're also using here is absolutely positioned text, so it lines up with the image on the background there. And if I just go back to the activity detailed header, then we can see that for our activity image text, we're using an absolute position for this. And this means that it's absolutely positioned against its parent div, which is going to be this segment here. So nothing too dramatic going on here, and that's for our header. Let's go and get the snippet for the activity detailed info. Once again, just to make life easy, we've got the snippet here. I'm just going to copy this into my clipboard, and we'll go over to the activity detailed info. Once again, we're just going to overwrite all of the content inside there. And once again, we're passing our activity down. And then we've just got some segments for styling purposes. We've got a grid inside this segment so that we can display the icon and the description next to each other. Same goes for the other components inside here. It's a bit verbose to do what we're doing here, so hence the reason for the snippet. But once again, we're just using semantic UI components to style. And if we go take a look at the effect of this, and we also need to pass down, once again, the activity to our activity detailed components, or detailed info component, and we can see the styling effect of what we've done there. And next we need to take a look at our activity detailed chat. So once again, I'm just going to copy the contents of this into my clipboard, and then just go to the activity detailed chat, overwrite all of this code in there. Now this one's really just a copy of the comment component from the semantic UI documentation. There's no functionality going on here. We're not passing our activity down here. This is something that we're going to be using much later on to show the chat inside our component. And if we go and take a look at how this looks on our page, then we can see that we've got a chat section inside our activity detail page as well. And we're going to come on to this much later. We're really just laying out the styling of our components here. And one more to go, just the sidebar. And if we go back and take a look at the snippet for this, then we're just going to once again copy all of this into the clipboard, and we're going to paste it into the activity detailed sidebar. And inside here, once again, we're not really dealing with any functionality at this point. Everything here is statically coded into the component because we don't have the information available to us yet to actually populate these individual elements inside this component. So let's go take a look at the page, and we can see what's happening on the right hand side. We can see the segment that we're using here along with the attendees that are going to be attending this particular activity. Obviously functionality that we haven't coded yet, including things like the flag that's displaying on the right hand side there to show that the host of an activity, and also following functionality that we'll be implementing later on. So we've cheated a lot for this component. It would take half an hour, maybe more, to go and manually type all of this out. And because it's not a styling course, I felt that that was time we could save by using snippets on this occasion. Apologies if you do prefer to type it all out manually. We don't do this very often in this course, but for occasions like this, it just allows us to move forward with the good stuff, which is the functionality. So what we'll take a look at next is, back on our activity dashboard, we want to add a component on the right hand side that we're going to be using to add filters to our activity, and we'll take a look at that next.